Have you ever wondered why life sometimes feels empty? Even when you're blessed with money in the bank, a decent job, and all the gadgets you could possibly want, something still seems missing. Like a treasure chest that looks impressive on the outside, but rattles hollow when you shake it. I know the feeling. And believe it or not, the answer to that gnawing emptiness was written down over 2,500 years ago in a book you probably have sitting on your shelf right now. It's hidden in the mysterious voice of a woman who stands in the streets shouting to anyone who will listen. She's not a crazy person. She's wisdom. Today we're diving into a fascinating passage from the book of Proverbs. Specifically Proverbs chapter 8 verses 20 and 21, and discovering how it unlocks the secret to a life so rich and full that your treasure rooms will overflow. And here's the kicker. This secret ultimately points straight to Jesus Christ. Stick with me. This might just change the way you see your entire life. I lead in the way of righteousness, the voice of wisdom. Let's look at the text itself. In Proverbs chapter 8, verses 20 and 21, wisdom says, I lead in the way of righteousness, in the midst of the paths of judgment, that I may cause those that love me to inherit substance, and I will fill their treasures. At first glance, these might look like quaint, old-fashioned words, but they're bursting with meaning. Proverbs 8 is one of the most beautiful chapters in the entire Bible. It's wisdom herself speaking, personified as a noble woman who cries out in public places, inviting people to come and learn from her. She's not hiding in some monastery or locked behind an academic door. She's standing at life's crossroads, saying, Unto you, O men, I call, and my voice is to the sons of man. That's Proverbs 8, verse 4. She's calling to everyone, including you and me. And in verses 20 and 21, she tells us two crucial things about herself. She walks in righteousness and justice. She promises those who love her will inherit substance and have their treasures filled. Sounds like a pretty good deal, doesn't it? But what does it actually mean? Wisdom is not just smart advice, she's righteous. Let's start with verse 20. I lead in the way of righteousness in the midst of the paths of judgment. This is huge. Wisdom isn't neutral. She's not some cold set of facts or clever life hacks. She's morally pure. She's righteous. She walks in what is right, fair, and just. And here's the thing. True wisdom never divorces itself from righteousness. We live in a world where wisdom often means cunning, manipulation, or getting ahead. People might say things like, just do whatever it takes to close the deal. Bend the truth a little, it's not hurting anyone. It's only cheating if you get caught. But that's not wisdom, that's cunning. God's wisdom is never shady. If you have to lie, manipulate, or sin to achieve something, it's not wisdom. It's foolishness dressed up in a clever costume. Why the path of judgment matters. Wisdom says she walks in the midst of the paths of judgment. Now, judgment here doesn't mean condemnation. It means discernment, fairness, and sound decision-making. Wisdom sees through situations with crystal clarity. She knows the difference between right and wrong. She helps you navigate life's gray areas without falling off moral cliffs. Just think about how many bad choices happen because people didn't see clearly. A business deal that looked too good to be true and was. Or a relationship that felt exciting but turned toxic. Maybe even an opportunity that required compromising integrity for quick profit. Wisdom is the divine light that reveals the truth hidden beneath appearances. That I may cause those that love me to inherit substance. Now let's look at verse 21. That I may cause those that love me to inherit substance, and I will fill their treasures. Here's where it gets incredible. Wisdom promises to give those who love her substance. The Hebrew word translated substance is yesh, which means true existence, lasting wealth, real possessions. This is not just money, it's a life that matters. So many people chase after things that vanish like smoke. Fame, popularity, temporary pleasure, social media likes. These things feel good in the moment, but they leave you empty. Wisdom offers the opposite. She offers treasures that last. Peace of mind, healthy relationships, spiritual depth, emotional stability, a sense of purpose, and eternal rewards. Your treasure rooms, empty or full. Wisdom goes on to say, Hape, and I will fill their treasures. Picture ancient treasure rooms. They were vast chambers filled with gold, jewels, spices, grain, weapons, everything needed to sustain a kingdom. A king with empty treasure rooms was in deep trouble. No resources meant no security, no influence, and no peace. The same is true spiritually. Many people look wealthy on the outside, but their inner treasure rooms echo hollow. An empty marriage, anxiety that won't quit, depression despite outward success, shattered relationships, and a gnawing sense that life is meaningless. Wisdom promises to fill your treasure rooms with things no thief can steal and no market crash can erase. But wait, is wisdom just an abstract concept? Here's where it gets even more, mind-blowing. Throughout Proverbs chapter 8, wisdom actually speaks like a person. She says things like, "The Lord possessed me in the beginning of his way. And then I was by him, as one brought up with him. And I was daily his delight." Wisdom is describing being present at creation. Sound familiar? John chapter 1 verses 1 through 3 say, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The same was in the beginning with God. All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made." Who is the Word? Jesus Christ. The New Testament actually calls Jesus the wisdom of God. Christ, the power of God, and the wisdom of God, and in whom are hid all the treasures of wisdom and knowledge. So when wisdom says, "I lead in the way of righteousness," she's ultimately pointing to Christ. Jesus, the fulfillment of wisdom. Think about it for a second. Jesus walked in righteousness. He lived a sinless life, just like it says in Hebrews chapter 4, verse 15. Jesus judges with perfect justice. All authority is given to him, according to John chapter 5, verse 22. Jesus offers an eternal inheritance. He's actually preparing a place for us, just like John chapter 14, verse 2 promises. Jesus fills our treasure rooms. He promised abundant life, as we see in John chapter 10, verse 10. He is wisdom in flesh and blood. The lantern metaphor, finding your way. Let's try to simplify all this with a picture. Just imagine life as a dark forest. There are so many paths that branch off into the shadows. Some are wide and smooth, but they end in hidden traps. Others are narrow and rocky, but they lead to, honestly, stunning views and safety. Wisdom is like a lantern, carried by a sure guide. Her light shows the safe paths, warns of pitfalls, and guides you to true treasures. Following that lantern ensures you reach the safe treasure room God has prepared for you. And ultimately, that lantern is Jesus Christ. So why do so many Christians feel empty despite being blessed? Well, it's because we often chase blessings instead of wisdom. We tend to seek comfort instead of character. We want quick fixes instead of righteous paths. And honestly, we accumulate stuff instead of substance. But wisdom, actually offers substance. Jesus offers abundant life, not just in eternity, but right now. So how do we take all this from theory into real life? Here are 2 practical ways to let wisdom and Christ fill your treasure rooms. First, seek Christ daily as your wisdom. Before making any decision, big or small, ask yourself, is this righteous? Does this align with Jesus' character? Will this choice fill my treasure rooms or drain them? Spend time daily in the Word. Pray. Listen for wisdom's voice. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God. That's James chapter 1, verse 5. You don't have to stumble in the dark. The lantern is there for you. Second, measure your treasure by eternal standards. Ask yourself, are my goals aligned with God's wisdom or just worldly success? What substance am I chasing? Is it lasting or fleeting? Am I investing in eternal things, like relationships, spiritual growth, and serving others? Jesus said, lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven. That's Matthew chapter 6, verse 20. When you shift your priorities, your treasure rooms begin to fill with substance that can't be shaken. If you're hungry to know where you stand spiritually and what steps to take next, check out our spiritual growth quiz. It's a simple, free tool to help you discover areas where wisdom might be calling you deeper. Take the quiz and start building treasure that lasts. In Proverbs chapter 8, verses 20 through 21, wisdom calls you into paths of righteousness and justice. She promises true substance and treasures that overflow. And through the lens of the New Testament, we see that wisdom's voice is ultimately the voice of Jesus Christ. He is the way of righteousness. He is the perfect judge. He is the giver of inheritance. And he is the one who fills our treasure rooms. If your life feels empty, even if you're blessed, maybe it's time to stop chasing shadows and start following the lantern. Because the one who carries it is wisdom himself, and he's calling your name, ready to discover where you stand and how to grow deeper. Don't miss the spiritual growth quiz in the description. It could be the next step to filling your treasure rooms for good.